see with the tornado in this type of system. So what we're going to be looking at here is zooming out a bit. You can see this is clearly a storm that is starting to become more linear in nature. But if you dive into the storm structure itself, you see this almost question mark type of marking here. You can see it kind of curve up and then starts to come back down. Whenever we start to see that curving into the system here on the north end of that, that's usually a good indication of this is where the tornado is going to be. And if we turn our velocity on, you notice that, lines up with the top edge of exactly where that rotation is. We're continuing to get new scans in, so I'm going to continue to kind of track this out for you, give you up to the moment timing on this system. So at 45 miles an hour off to the northeast, obviously, Kennesaw and Ackworth, you're going to be in the line of this storm. 12:03 in Ackworth, so that gives you 10 minutes to get to your safe place. Kennesaw, you're looking at 12:04, 12:07 in Kennesaw State University, and then as we get into Woodstock at 12:15. So that is good news. So for folks in these locations, you do have time to find that safe shelter. If you're in one of the dorm rooms, you want to go into one of the interior spaces at Kennesaw State University. A lot of the dorm rooms do have storm shelters on the lower floor, underneath the stairwell or in the stairwell area, so kind of keep that in mind. We're talking 12:19 to Holly Springs, Mountain Park, 12:20. Sequoia High School in that area, we're looking at 12:23, same for Roswell, and then looking towards Milton in northern Fulton County at 12:26 if this cell still holds together. So this is, again, giving us a very classic signature, and I'm continuing to look at the chat with the National Weather Service. We haven't got any confirmation on it yet, but a lot of the emergency managers in the areas are starting to make their calls, which is some good news. The other thing I want to point out with is you notice these purple areas on the map here. This, especially just to the north of Altoona High School and then just to the west of that, this is where we could potentially see some very large hail over 1 inch in diameter. So that's in addition to the tornado threat that we have ongoing in the area for western Paulding County, eastern Paulding County, and then over in towards northwestern Cobb County. So again, we can't stress enough, folks in these areas, go ahead and get to your safe place. That's going to be a basement if you have it. It's also going to be a, let me clear that off. It's also going to be the most interior room. So we're talking a hallway, a closet underneath the stairwell at home if you have it, and eventually making its way up towards Woodstock and the Mountain Park area as well. So, folks, you have time. Go over, find your safe spot, and get there before this storm heads in your direction.
Yeah, and we are in constant communication with the National Weather Service and emergency managers in the area. Again, possible tornado. This is southwest of Ackworth for Cherokee, Cobb, and Paulding counties. And the Paulding County emergency managers say they're getting multiple calls of damage. In fact, they just got 2 calls from trees on homes in the Ackworth area in Paulding County. So certainly something we'll be watching as more and more reports come in. And this is what we see in these situations. You get a tornado warning, severe thunderstorm warning. You start to get those calls that follow shortly thereafter. So this is a very serious situation, highly populated area, possible tornado on the ground. This is radar indicated right now, but we're starting to get some damage reports in Paulding County. Again, right now, 2 reports of trees on homes. So far, no injuries reported, but of course, something will continue to follow. Alatoona High School, just southwest of Ackworth. Possible tornado on the ground if you are in Ackworth. Alatoona High School, Kennesaw. And let's zoom in even more, JD, here. Let's go street level just south of Alatoona High School so we can really get a better idea. So Dallas Ackworth Highway, Green Hill Estates, if you're familiar with that neighborhood, near Alatoona High School, basically anyone near Alatoona High School. We're going to try to find those big landmarks that everyone is familiar with so you can know exactly where this possible tornado is located. Mars Hill Road, near Edgewood Estates, Old Stylesboro Road Northwest, County Line Road Northwest, Camden Lake Parkway, Brookstone Drive. If you are near Chatham Road, near Alatoona High School, again, Dallas Ackworth area, that is where we have a radar indicated tornado warning for a possible tornado on the ground. We are seeing it very well on radar here, showing the rotation. Again, we talk about this all the time. Green is winds in one direction, red is in the other. When you see both of those colors hugging each other like that, that is a very good indicator of a tornado on the ground. And this is heading towards a very populated area through Paulding County, moving into southern Cherokee County. So this is Woodstock right here. The warning does include portions of Cobb County and Cherokee County as this possible tornado moves to the northeast at 45 miles an hour. Right now heading towards Ackworth in the next few minutes. You have minutes to get to your safe spot right now in Ackworth, 1203, Kennesaw, 1206. Towards Kennesaw State University, 1209, Woodstock, 1216, Holly Springs at 1222, Mountain Park at 1224, Sequoia High School, that is heading your direction right around 1227, Canton, also 1227, Roswell around 1230, and Alpharetta. So again, we're starting to get in these very highly populated areas, Roswell, Canton, Milton, Alpharetta, right around 1230, possible tornado is heading in your direction. If you have friends in Milton, Roswell, Alpharetta, make sure you let them know that there is a radar indicated tornado, a tornado warning, and they need to get into their safe space right now. This possible tornado right now over Chetham Road Northwest near, Allatoona High School, Edgewood Estates, Mars Hill Road, County Line Road, heading towards the Ackworth area, Kennesaw State University, through Cowan Road, Baker Road Northwest, North Cobb High School. So we're going from Paulding County into Cobb and Cherokee County. That is the direction of this tornado warning as it does move to the northeast at about 45 miles an hour. Already getting some damage reports of trees on homes. Certainly, we're going to see power outages as a result of this storm. And not only do we have a possible tornado, but also we're seeing the possibility of 70-mile-an-hour winds. So a very intense thunderstorm approaching the metro area as we speak. We have a big plume of severe storms moving through West Georgia into the metro area as we speak. And this will continue to move in overnight. This is why we've been stressing the importance of having a plan in place. You don't want to start thinking at midnight about where you need to go in the event of a tornado warning. Lowest level of your home, interior room, away from any windows, that's where you need to be right now. If you are in Paulding, Cobb, and Cherokee counties where you are under a tornado warning right now, and it looks like this is almost very close to, if not directly over, Allatoona High School. Near the Ackworth area, approaching the Kennesaw area, and eventually the Woodstock area. But Allatoona High School, Ackworth, possible tornado on the ground. We have an active tornado warning as this looks like it may skirt just to the north of northwest of Kennesaw as it moves closer to the Ackworth area. This very strong thunderstorm, again, moving to the northeast at 45 miles an hour as we're tracking this with you live on the air here in the late night and overnight hours. This storm system history of producing multiple tornadoes across much of the southeast. Started in Oklahoma, Texas. We saw it throughout Alabama throughout the day today. And now we're going to feel those impacts tonight over North Georgia as these storms continue to get closer and closer to Atlanta. North Cobb High School, you are in the path of this tornado warning. Laurel Hills, Ackworth Beach, heading towards Cowan Road, Hickory Grove Road, Baker Road. We do have a tornado warning in place, and we've got First Alert meteorologist J.D. Dishman. I know you're watching the chat. Are we getting any more reports of damage or any updates on this tornado warning?
Not any updates on this tornado warning, but I do want to, kind of move the map a little bit to the right as we zoom in, just to kind of let you know some of the roads that are down the line in terms of where we expect this possible tornado to be rolling through in northern Cobb County. So we're talking Baker Road Northwest, Hickory Grove Road, Cherokee Street Northwest. These are all near the Kennesaw State University area. And if you know where North Cobb High School is, that's also an area that's in the path of this storm as it's moving off to the east. Remember earlier, a few minutes ago, we were talking about the structure of the storm. The good news is it's not quite as well defined on the radar right now. Remember earlier back here, we had that very well defined kind of hook shape, maybe like a comma shape. We're not really seeing that right now. So if I kind of take that off, it's starting to kind of bleed out a little bit, which may be an indication that we're seeing some rotation weakening on the storm. And in fact, right now, as I look, it looks like they have canceled that warning as we go into the next few minutes or so. So that's some great news. There are still, though, severe thunderstorm warnings with this cell as it continues to push off towards the east. And that's going to be for some very strong winds with this particular line of storms. So don't forget, we still have this particular line here that's going to be looking at Cobb County in the Marietta area. This particular cell was warned for 70-mile-an-hour winds. So Roswell, that's moving to your area by 12:16, 12:19 in the Dunwoody area, 12:24 in Alpharetta, Avalon 12:25, Johns Creek at 12:31. Again, if this line holds together, then moving towards Gwinnett County, Duluth at 12:35, Suwannee at 12:41. In this particular cell, the one that we just tracked with the 70-mile-an-hour winds, that has shown damage in the past. We're seeing in the chat now that we are going to, Haralson County had several trees down at Highway 78. And then we are now seeing that Dallas possibly now reporting, the emergency manager in Paulding County possibly reporting that they've had calls of a possible tornado in that Dallas area. So, you know, even though the warning has dropped, we're going to continue to see some severe weather roll through these areas. And it's very likely that it could possibly spin up again. So that's one of the reasons we're staying on air right now, to kind of give you the heads up that this isn't over yet. Yes, the warning has been dropped, but this is still a very severe situation continuing to push into Cherokee County, Cobb County, and if they do eventually issue downstream warnings, we're talking a very heavily populated area of North Fulton County as well.
Clear. It is important to reiterate that the tornado warning has now been canceled for Cherokee, Cobb, and Paulding counties. As important as it is that we let you know to go in your safe space, it's equally important that we let you know when you can come out. We don't want you in the closet for longer than you need to be. You don't want to be in the closet longer than you need to be. And although we're not seeing a tornado warning right now, keep in mind, we are under a tornado watch through at least 4 o'clock. And maybe extended east of Atlanta, even beyond that. And we still have very strong, dangerous storms moving through western portions of the metro. In fact, each one of these yellow boxes, these are severe thunderstorm warnings. So yes, they're not tornado warnings, but these storms are capable of producing 60-mile-an-hour winds and fairly large hail. We're seeing a tremendous amount of lightning. Surely, if you are in Cherokee County right now, if you are in Douglas County, you are hearing the wind and all of the thunder. And we actually have a DOT camera I want to show you. This is just south of Ackworth. And I want to point this out because if you look closely, I know it's very dark, but you can see how windy it is and wet. That is driving rain right now, just south of Ackworth. Thankfully, I'm not seeing any vehicles on the road, so everyone heeded our warnings and our first alert weather days about staying home, staying put. But look at the reflection of those traffic cameras on the street, and you can just see how heavy it's rain. And look at that. You can see the wind just pushing the rain. There are some vehicles out there. Hopefully they're on their way home. Brand new tornado warning right now. So let's get the latest on this. And again, this is going to be a very active situation pretty much the entire night as we have an active warning here. And I need to scoot out here to see where this warning is located.
This is going to be in Randolph County in Alabama. So this is going to be one of our Alabama viewing counties. It's going to be right there on Highway 431 south of Wadowee as you make your way down towards the Roanoke area. It includes Wadley and the southeastern portion of the county as well. Basically, this is a continuation, if you remember earlier when we started our coverage of the tornado warning that was in Alexander City in Alabama. That was a confirmed tornado report confirmed tornado at the time. Right now, this is a radar indicated tornado. It is moving off towards the northeast at approximately 45 miles per hour. And it is radar indicated as well. So that is some good news. So it's not confirmed, but the bad news is, unfortunately, we do have that potential for the tornado right now. Let's go ahead and track this out for you. It's going to be right down here in this area as I grab our tracker and put it off to the northeast. 50 miles an hour, I stand corrected, is what we're looking at. So Wadley, we're looking at 11:12. Roanoke at 11:26. Folks in Wadowee, the Lake Wadowee area, you're going to be looking at 11:27. Ava, looking at 11:30. Woodland, 11:35. Those times are central because those are Alabama cities. Then we get to Ephesus at 12:44. That's Eastern time. Franklin 12:47. If it holds together, we're going to be looking at moving into Heard County, and especially the Heard County High School area at 12:47 a.m. So again, this is continuing basically that same line of storms that we've been watching. You know, we have the northern extent. That's what's causing that tornado warning, at least caused in the past tense in Cobb and Paulding County earlier. Now a severe thunderstorm warning. The southern edge, we don't want to kind of forget about, because that's what's causing our tornado warning down into Randolph County in Alabama. Again, if it holds together, it'll eventually impact Heard County, Carroll County, and then possibly northern Coweta County in Georgia as we go down the line. But the other threat that we want to mention with this is flash flooding. We've seen these storms train over and over and over again. And if you notice, we now have a green polygon on the map, and that means we are dealing with a flash flood warning, basically extending from Cartersville down to just north of Douglasville and to the west into the Alabama line. So this is Carroll County, Haralson, Polk, Bartow, Paulding, portions of Douglas, and Cobb as well. So these are areas where if you are in a flood-prone area, it typically floods when you get heavy rain. That's what you can expect as we go into the evening hours. Also, we have the severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-an-hour winds for basically that same area, because another storm is starting to train over the exact same area. Now, for those of you who are south of this area, in advance of this tornado warning down in Randolph County, Alabama, this is a similar situation that you can see, because as I zoom out, you can see there are more storms forming on the backside of this system. So eventually we are going to see the same issues with flooding in Heard, Coweta, South Fulton, and Carroll counties as we go throughout the next few hours. So again, like we've been telling you all week, the threats that we're seeing from this line of showers and storms as they roll through North Georgia are many. It's a tornado threat. We see that with the tornado warning. It's the wind threat. We see that with the severe thunderstorm warning, and it's the flood threat that we see with the flash flood warning. So you need to have a way to get these warnings. If your power goes out and you lose us on television, a great way to do that is the First Alert weather app. You'll be able to get that on your cell phone, continue getting your updates, your alerts, and also a live look at radar as well. Jennifer?
Yeah, and we are watching that tornado warning in Randolph County, Alabama. These storms, again, a history of producing tornadoes. This is radar indicated, but if you look just behind it, we have a purple polygon. Purple means confirmed tornado. So we've seen multiple tornadoes already. This is radar indicated this time at night. That is enough confidence here that we have a very likely tornado on the ground. This is moving to the northeast at about 50 miles an hour. Keep in mind, this is in central time because, again, we're talking about Randolph County in Alabama, so the times are going to jump a bit. But notice it's heading towards the Dollar General there in eastern Alabama at around 11:15. This warning is until midnight central time, 1 o'clock Eastern time, heading towards Roanoke at 11:28, Woodland at 11:39. Then once we cross that Georgia state line, notice we're getting closer to that 1 o'clock time frame. So Franklin, if it's still a tornado, certainly that warning will be issued for western Georgia, and we'll let you know. But heading towards Franklin at 12:50, towards Heard County High School, if it is still a tornado, again, when it heads into Heard County, of course, we'll let you know around 12:50. Central Hatchie at 12:53, Bowden at 12:56. Then heading towards the University of West Georgia. So if you know students there, certainly they need to take cover as well. This is a radar indicated tornado, certainly seeing some rotation here. When we look at the radar, again, we're looking for that couplet, that red and green here, possible tornado moving to the northeast at about 50 miles an hour. And it is also just ahead of a confirmed tornado we have north and east of Alexander City in Alabama. There is the Georgia state line. So this is in Alabama, but crossing into the Georgia state line here. And all of these thunderstorms will eventually be making their way into metro Atlanta, where we are already seeing some possible flooding, some flash flood warning right now for Paulding County, for Douglas County, for Carroll County. Very strong winds as well. Again, all of these yellow boxes, Kennesaw, Canton, Cherokee County, you are under a severe thunderstorm warning. Cartersville, severe thunderstorm warning for the possibility of 60-mile-an-hour winds and 3/4 of an inch size hail. Lots and lots of heavy rain as well as this continues to move to the northeast very quickly. This is all part of a very potent wet system. In fact, here's a look at radar estimated rainfall accumulations. Many areas have already seen 2.5, 3 inches of rain. And we're continuing to see more heavy rain over the exact same area. So we're talking about a multi-level threat with hail, with very heavy rain, possible flooding, tornadoes, of course, and those strong damaging winds. We are always in constant communication with emergency managers, with the National Weather Service. They're getting multiple reports of trees down. We're getting multiple reports of power outages. So this is the time to get into your safe spot. You want to stay away from windows in general, even not under a tornado warning, and you want to stay very vigilant through the evening and overnight hours for possible tornadoes that really could spin up at any moment. We've seen it time and time again, these tornadoes spinning quickly, and it can be on the ground for an extended period of time. Lots of trees down, and we're getting reports of power outages. In fact, this is our power outage map, and we can tell you exactly how many power outages we're seeing. Where we did have that tornado warning in Paulding County, that is where we have most of our outages right now. 18,000 people without power right now in Paulding County. Cobb County, 5,000 people without power. Fulton County, 10,000 people without power. But when you consider how many people live in Paulding County compared to Fulton County, you see this is much, much higher. 25% of the county, Paulding County right now, without power. What that tells me, there is a tremendous amount of trees and power lines down. 25% of Paulding County without power right now. We are sending our crews to Paulding County. We are on the ground. We're going to get the very latest. Any damage we have, we are going to get you those visuals and let you know if everyone is okay. But certainly something we'll be watching, especially when you have 25% of a county without power right after a tornado warning. That tells you something significant happened in that area. So we will be checking with emergency managers. Of course, we have crews on the ground. We have our own first alert meteorologist, Cutter Martin. He is out there storm tracking as well. He's going to be getting us those visuals. And in fact, if the producer can hear me, if we can see where Cutter is right now, because I would love to get some images of what he's seeing in West Georgia. But we are still tracking that tornado warning that we do have in Randolph County, Alabama. And there we do have Cutter Martin right now. And you see all that lightning, driving rain. And where is Cutter right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so he is I-20 in South Cobb, and he is probably heading to Paulding, would be my guess here, because that is where we have multiple damage reports where we did have a possible tornado on the ground, but certainly very wet, very windy. We're seeing lots of lightning on the interstates right now, and this is why we were stressing how important it was that everyone was in their safe spot at 10 o'clock tonight, because you needed to be safe in bed, tucked away in your safe area before the storms came in. Randolph County still under that tornado warning. We've got First Alert meteorologist J.D. Disharoon. He's on radar right now. Are we getting any reports of damage in eastern Alabama? Any updates?
Not in eastern Alabama right now. It's pretty quiet in their chat room. That doesn't mean there isn't damage, but what it just means is we haven't gotten it in. What we are starting to get reports, though, of is damage in Cherokee County. So this goes to show you don't need a tornado warning. These severe thunderstorm warnings can do damage themselves. In fact, we're hearing from the Cherokee County emergency manager that they're getting lots of tree reports down from just west of Canton and Suitally all the way over to Oak Grove, which is just west of the Woodstock area. And then that's mainly with this system that has been pushing through. So that's going to be, as I zoom into this area right here, basically this particular area right here as I start to draw it in. So this is the area that we're starting to see all those tree reports come in, and they say the calls are coming in quite rapidly, which makes sense given what we've seen in this area and also the potential for very strong winds. Remember, this cell is particularly warned for 60-mile-an-hour winds as it continues to push to the east. So as we look, and actually, you know what? They haven't said anything yet, but we're starting to see another one of those curves here that's starting to form in the line. So this is an area coming in towards Holly Springs and Canton that has the potential to be a potential spin up for a tornado in this particular area. So again, no warning just yet, but that's one of the reasons that we tell you to treat these severe thunderstorm warnings like a tornado warning, because in this type of environment where we have all the conditions ripe for tornado development, it does not take long for these spin ups to occur. So again, folks in Holly Springs and into the Canton area, I would go ahead and treat this as a tornado warning just because I'm starting to see that that notch move into the area. And as we draw this out, we're going to notice, I'm going to zoom out a little bit because that's not going to be an accurate time, just because I'm zoomed in a little bit too much there. But as we zoom out, track it, we're going to be noticing that this is going to be moving off to the northeast about 45 miles an hour. So if it holds together, we're talking the Holly Springs area about 1220, Canton 1221, Sequoia High School 1226, Cumming 1249, East Forsyth High School, if it holds together, at 1 a.m., Oakwood at 110, Gainesville 114, and Chicopee Woods Elementary School around the 115 time frame. So again, we can't stress this enough. Even though we are seeing a severe thunderstorm warning, I know the mentality is it's not a tornado warning. You cannot have that mentality tonight. You need to treat every warning due to this environment as if it is a tornado warning and find that safe place, because we have seen very quick spin ups with these storms. We have seen some of these cells go from just raindrops to supercells in 20 minutes. And just like we had that last tornado warning in Cobb and Paulding County, we saw that spin up very quickly as well. So the atmosphere is ripe for severe development. It looks like the storms are starting to tap onto it. As we've looked at Alabama and into North Georgia today, this is one of the more active periods that we have seen. You know, we had a kind of a lull in the afternoon back in Alabama, but now that these storms are starting to get into our area, they're starting to pick up, and it's starting that process that we've been telling you all week long about. It's starting to go more from a, you know, discrete cell line or discrete cell to a line of showers and storms. And when that happens is when we start to get some of the most dangerous straight line winds. And, you know, judging by the reports that we're seeing in the chat, and then also what we've seen in terms of radar data, that's exactly what's happening right now.
Yeah, and we're getting lots of reports of trees down. We have large amounts of power outages right now, and we do have an active tornado warning for Randolph County. Again, possible spin-ups possible in the metro area as well. I want to take you to Max 1 quickly if we can, because we always talk about our safe spot, where we need to go during a tornado warning. So I want to refresh everyone, because I know you hear your county, you've got a tornado warning, you start to panic, you're waking up the babies, and you need to know where to go. The best place to go is an interior room away from any windows. So what does interior room mean? If you have a bedroom and you've got a big window, that is not a safe place to be. You want a hallway, a closet, an interior stairwell. That's going to be your best bet. A bathroom could work as well, ideally a bathroom without any windows. If you do have a basement, the basement is the best place to be during a tornado warning. So inside, interior room, away from any windows, basement preferably. If you are in an apartment, the best place to be, an interior stairwell if you have one, if not a closet. I know you don't want to be stuck in a closet. Nobody wants to go in the closet, but that's going to be the safest place to be. Let's go back to Barron, because we want to continue to track these storms. Just wanted to make sure everyone knew where they needed to go in the event of a tornado warning. We have the wind velocity on. This shows us possible rotation, and we are watching Randolph County for possible rotation. We do still have that tornado warning in place, possible rotation here. This is just south of Wadley. This is east of Daviston, Roanoke. So this is southwest of Roanoke. Again, possible tornado. This is radar indicated, but is also just ahead of a confirmed tornado just behind it. So we see oftentimes as meteorologists, once a storm has a tornado, it may lift up, the warning may be canceled, but that same cell could produce a tornado again and again and again. So certainly something we'll be watching for. We know the environment very ripe for tornadoes, which is why we are under a tornado watch until 4 o'clock and why we have that first alert weather day today and tomorrow. Roanoke, this possible rotation tornado heading your direction at around 11:32. And again, this is Central Time, because we are talking about Randolph County, Alabama in Central Time. Now we're heading into the Georgia area, where you start seeing things closer to 1 o'clock in the morning. Heard County High School, possible very strong storm containing a tornado heading in your direction around 12:56. Central Hatchie around 1 o'clock. Grantville, 113. University of West Georgia, 113. Carrollton at 1:15. Whitesburg at 1:18. Then towards Moreland at 1:19. Strong thunderstorm heading your direction, again with possible rotation at a minimum. We're seeing the possibility of 60 to 70 mile an hour wind gusts. We're seeing incredibly heavy rainfall. We're seeing what we call training of thunderstorms, where we see heavy rainfall over and over the same areas as this travels from eastern Alabama into Georgia. And we'll be watching as it crosses the Georgia state line for possible impacts as this gets closer and closer to the metro area. For right now, it is Randolph County, Alabama. You are under a tornado warning. This is until 1 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, midnight Central time, for a radar indicated tornado on the ground here, moving to the northeast at about 50 miles an hour. And it's all part of a greater system that's producing torrential downpours. If you've got these thunderstorms over you, I'm sure you hear the winds howling. I'm sure you hear the thunder, and we're hearing those winds as well, even here in Midtown, and the strongest storms aren't even here yet. We can hear the winds in this massive building that we are inside. I do want to go back, if we can take the road tracker again, because I think these visuals outside are so imperative to show everyone what it looks like outside. So we've got Cutter Martin, First Alert Meteorologist Cutter Martin. He is in the road tracker, and he's going to check out some damage and see what he finds there, heading towards the Paulding County area, Cherokee County area, to see what we see there. But we do know that we have multiple reports of trees down, power lines down, and power outages. In fact, I want to check those power outages again, JD, if we can do that, and check how many people we have now without power. When we see these thunderstorms with these strong winds like this, we tend to see these numbers go up fairly quickly, and especially after a tornado warning. Last time we checked, we had 25% of Paulding County without power. So we are watching 20% of customers in Randolph County, Alabama without power. These are huge numbers. 30% now in Paulding County without power. Think about that. 30% of everybody who lives in Paulding County right now without power. So we are seeing incredible amounts of power outages with these thunderstorms. We're seeing an incredible amount of trees down, power lines down. And unfortunately, as the night goes on, we are probably going to see more reports of damage as these reports continue to come in. Even Fulton County, DeKalb County reporting power outages right now. And these are areas that haven't even really seen the strongest storms yet. It's been windy, but we're seeing some power outages. Again, notice the difference in these numbers. We're going from 4,000 customers without power. I know we've got 16,000 in North Fulton. That is a lot, but Fulton County is huge. It has a massive population. Then you look at Paulding County. We've got more people in Paulding County without power than we do in Fulton County. More than 5,000 customers in Marietta right now without power. So these storms are packing a punch with strong damaging winds. At a minimum, we're going to see trees and power lines come down. And of course, we will be watching for those possible tornadoes as well. Randolph County, Alabama, you are still under that tornado warning for the next 30 to 35 minutes or so. Let's get the latest on that and see how this tornado warning is going. This is just northwest of Roanoke here as the storm is traveling very quickly towards the Georgia state line. This line you see right here, this is the Alabama-Georgia border. So we're giving you those bearings to get a better idea. We've got First Alert meteorologist Ella Dorsey here. Ella, I know you're watching this closely as well.
Yes.
Are you getting more damage reports?
I just want to give you guys an update. This came in just 3 minutes ago from Peachtree City National Weather Service. The rotation in the storm in Randolph County, Alabama has diminished quite a bit. We're continuing to monitor, but no plans for any extension of a warning at this time. So that is very good news.
And they, in fact, just dropped the warning while we were reading that out.
There
So
you go.
that is a good indication that we are seeing weakening with this particular cell. But that doesn't mean you let your guard down. So folks in Heard County, you know, this is coming in your direction, and we are going to continue to see the heavy winds pushing on in as we go throughout the next several minutes. So, you know, the tornado warning is done, but heavy winds, heavy rain, and even the possibility of some hail. Notice here on 431 on Wedowee, just south of there, that's where we're starting to see that purple color. That's where we could possibly see some larger hail moving in with that area. And as that continues to move off to the northeast, you know, that could be moving up into the Woodline or the Woodville area, and then also up into northern
Where is he?
Heard County as well. So all of this is just something that we need to pay attention to as we go into the next several minutes. I do apologize there. I had something stuck in my throat. Meanwhile, as we take a look back out to the west, this is what we can expect for our area as we go throughout the next several hours, and that is the potential for flash flooding. You notice we have a lot of green boxes off to our west. It's because these storms have been training over the same spots over and over and over again. We already have one flash flood warning for the metro area extending from the Georgia-Alabama state line up through Carroll, Paulding, and then into East Cobb and southern Bartow counties. I would not be surprised with these cells down here near the Roanoke area, eventually moving into Heard County, and the one down near Auburn and Tuskegee in Alabama that's also moving up north of I-85. Those are going over roughly the same areas, and that's where another area of potential flash flooding is just waiting to happen as we head into the next several hours and into the overnight. So if you live in flood-prone areas, and we've been saying it all night, go ahead and make your preparations. We are going to see enough rainfall in the overnight hours where those of you who are used to flooding in heavy rain situations will be likely to see it as we head into the overnight hours as well. But also that just shows you as we get farther south into the Tuskegee and Auburn area, that's going to be moving up towards LaGrange and eventually the Noonan area over the course of the next few hours. So even though we're seeing, no tornado warnings at the moment, it does not mean the severe threat is done for the night. So we're going to have to continue to monitor this as we head throughout the evening and into the early morning hours, Jennifer.
Yeah, and something we'll be watching all night long. We are under a tornado watch until 4 in the morning. We knew that greatest threat was after midnight. It's now 12:27. And look at this mess across West Georgia and through the northern suburbs. Pounding down rain. We're seeing flooding, trees down, power lines down, and what we think was a tornado on the ground near the city of Ackworth in Paulding County, where we are now seeing 30% of Paulding County without power. Our first alert meteorologist, Cutter Martin, he is heading to Paulding County, and he is in the first alert tracker right now. We're going to take that shot. We're going to talk with Cutter. Cutter, tell me what it looks like where you are right now, where you're heading. What do you notice as you're driving towards Paulding County?
Yeah, we're on I-20 right now onto Thornton Road, so just taking the exit. Of course, it's sopping wet out here. It's been raining constantly for about an hour and a half, so some ponding out here secondary to some of the other issues. We were in Temple when the storm moved through that eventually became that tornado-warned storm. We had a quick burst of 50 to 60 mile per hour straight line winds. Though chatting with the National Weather Service, they said that in addition to the tornado potential, storm was surely producing straight line damage wind, so it kind of could be a two-parter scenario there. Even if not tornadic damage, enough straight line winds to knock down trees and power lines. Hearing of at least 2 trees on homes in the greater Dallas area, kind of north central Paulding County. No injuries with those, but we're headed that way to see exactly what went through. Trees and lines reported down, though we're headed that way. Should be in Dallas proper here within the next 20 minutes.
Perfect, Cutter. We'll continue to see where you're heading. Of course, if you see any damage reports, let us know. We're increasingly concerned about Paulding County, where we did have a possible tornado on the ground and certainly multiple power outages. Getting reports that 30% of Paulding County is without power right now. That is why it is so important in these kind of situations. You download the Atlanta News First Alert Weather app. If you don't have it yet, download it now, because if you lose power, which chances are you may lose power tonight as these storms are just now approaching the metro area, you can continue to watch us. We're going to stay on the air, keeping you safe and keeping you updated. We're also sending constant alerts. So if there is another warning issued, the app will let you know right away. If you have your location alerts turned on, it will send you an alert so you can get to your safe spot. No active tornado warnings right now. So again, no tornado warnings right now, but we do have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings in place. Cherokee County, you are under a severe thunderstorm warning. Paulding County, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning heading towards Bartow County. Polk County, Carroll County, under a severe thunderstorm warning. This is for the possibility of 60-mile-an-hour winds. And even with 60-mile-an-hour winds, you see trees come down, you see power lines come down, you see damage to roofs and siding. So you do get a fairly significant amount of damage with severe thunderstorm warnings as well. It doesn't have to be a tornado to cause substantial damage. This entire system, part of a major cold front that's been impacting much of the country, much of the southeastern U.S., and now we are feeling the brunt of this storm as we head into the overnight hours. Probably the worst timing for these storms, because many of you are in bed wanting to go to sleep, and certainly nearly impossible to go to sleep with storms this loud outside your window. Let's turn the lightning on, JD. We do turn off the lightning so that we can show you where the strongest storms are located, but these storms are incredibly electrical. Look at all the lightning we're seeing right now in DeKalb County, Gwinnett County, Cherokee County, Carroll County. I will say we're seeing less lightning now than we were about an hour ago, so that's a good sign. Usually that is sign signs of weakening, which we like to see within these thunderstorms. But this one in East Atlanta here through DeKalb, certainly seeing a tremendous amount of lightning right now as this moves east towards the Stone Mountain area. I'm sure if you're in Redan, if you're in Stone Mountain, if you're in Snellville, I'm sure it's very loud where you are right now, seeing some very heavy rain. Thankfully, that storm is not severe, but it is producing quite a bit of lightning and thunder. The strongest storms right now are in western portions of the metro area where we do have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings, or at least we did. And I'm looking for them now with all the yellows on the map. Hard to see, but it looks like they're all done. So great news. All the severe thunderstorm warnings are done for now. It does not mean we're in the clear, but at least right now, no active severe thunderstorm warnings. We're still seeing a tremendous amount of heavy rain, some gusty winds. In order for a thunderstorm to be severe, it does have to have 58-mile-an-hour winds or more. So even though these may not be severe and those winds may not be 58 miles an hour, still seeing some strong gusty winds within these thunderstorms, and certainly trees, power lines coming down even without a severe thunderstorm warning. So very strong storms continue to move through the area. We are seeing multiple power outages, lots of power outages across metro Atlanta. 22,000 people in Paulding County now without power, 16,000 without power in Fulton County, 6,000 without power in Cobb, 8,500 customers without power right now in Cherokee County. And you can see where we're seeing most of those power outages. It's where we had, well, Paulding County, that tornado warning, but also those severe thunderstorm warnings. And that strongest warning that was moving through Paulding and Douglas had winds up to 70 miles an hour. So not only severe, but extra severe with those high level winds of 70 miles an hour. That is easily enough to topple trees and power lines. Now, those are the numbers. We're going to convert it into percentages. Sometimes it's easier to get a grasp of the magnitude of how many people are without power. And again, 30% of Paulding County without power now. Compare that to 3% of Fulton County without power. So you can see how big of a storm this was, how many trees are probably down, how many power lines are probably down, with a significant amount of customers without power right now in Paulding County. These storms are producing gusty winds. We're seeing very heavy rain. In fact,